Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Don't Tell Mama. As a courtesy to the performer this evening, we ask that you take a moment to silence your cell phones and put them away. We must ask that there is no video or photography during the show. We ask that you help us to keep the aisles as clear as possible for both the performer and the waitstaff. And please, ladies and gentlemen, no texting. Thank you. And now please welcome to the stage, Barb Malley.
Oh, I'm so glad to see you. You know, after 1 year of singing, of COVID, when we were singing everything via Zoom, it was fun, but it wasn't real. And then after that year, Don't Tell Mama had an open mic night where it was going to be live. The place was mobbed. Now, I had signed up to sing one song, and I looked over and saw the pianist, and it was one of my favorite musicians in the city. So we had a wonderful time. If you don't all know Bill Zuffro. Now, what that led to was an afterglow where we talked together about shows we had seen and people we had loved in show business. And guess who we settled on most of all? You may have figured it out if you've seen the posters. Shirley Temple. And I just forgot Bill's last name. What's Bill?
My last name? I don't know.
No, not yours.
Oh.
Bojangles' last name. His one.
Robinson.
And of course. So anyway, what was amazing was that she was 50 years younger than he. And when some of you saw, and I hope you did see, if you didn't, when you leave here or tomorrow, just go on to Google and say, Shirley Temple, Bill Bojangles Robinson, tap dance. If you didn't see it, see it. It's so incredible. And I read, as I was doing research on her, that she was 7 years old. She was pouting because her mommy said she had to go to bed early. And Bill says, little darling, come on. I'll show you a fun way to go up the stairs. In 1.5 hours, she learned the whole piano. She was 7 years old. So anyway, that led us to say, well, we have to do a show. And the show would have something to do with Shirley Temple. So we started out with her song, When I Grow Up, and that became the title of our show. So here we go.
Did you want to sing it now?
Well, I guess that's a good idea. All right, here we go. I had a terrible, awful ache, especially when it rained. At first I was afraid he'd have, but then I knew it's growing pains. God, gee, oh, can't you see, I'll soon be growing tall. I want to know what I will be when I'm no longer small. When I grow up in a year or 2 or 3, I'll be happy as can be, like a birdie in a tree. When I grow up, there's a lot I want to do, and I'll have real girlies too, like the woman in the shoe. I want to be a teacher so the children will say, oh teacher dear, the gang's all here with apples today. When I grow up, I will have a big surprise. I'll bake some pies that will make you roll your eyes. And if you see I need some company, you'll call me up and I'll come down and when I grow up. Now, after she sang that song at age 7, she started thinking about what would her life be like at different ages. And this is how she described herself at different ages. When I am sweet 16, I'll be going to a ball. Of all the girlies that will be there, I want to be the best of all. I'll wear a dress of silver and lace. They'll call me Mistress Curly. And I will know what I'm going to do, but I won't be like the little girl who went home so early. I want to stay and meet a handsome man in a uniform of gold. And I'll talk to kings, I'll talk to queens, and I'll be just so gold. Well, she talked about that, and then she thought about maybe there were other ages that she might be interested in being. And the next one she thought about was, when I am 21, I wish that I could look like a picture that I saw in a pretty picture book. There's a woman all dressed up in white with flowers in her hand, and people all were looking around and watching her so grand. And the children all carried blankets, and they were having so much fun. And everyone was loving this and that was it. And I hope that I can be like that when I am really 21. Now, Shirley Temple was really a little actress even at that age of 7. So she came in and she kept going off stage and coming back on. And then this is what she announced. When I am very, very old, I'll stay at home all day. I wish that I could be like that lady on the wall. She looks so nice and comfy, like her rocking chair and all. And that little cap upon her head, it makes her look so pretty. And I liked her long and funny gown. It was just amazing. But then she began to say that she didn't know what she could be when she was old. She hoped she would be like that. And it was so quiet in the place. It was like the tick of a clock. She just didn't know what to do but rock and rock and rock. And little Shirley thought that would be wonderful. Well, little Shirley was 7 years old. I was past 47, I think, at that point, and I didn't want to just rock and roll. So we had to figure out that there must be another way to get old, and was I lucky? One of my friends had a friend who was, 45. And she accepted being old, and she decided that she had to tell other people that getting old doesn't make you get really old. In fact, what she told was a story about a wise man from long ago who said, we don't get old because we stop doing the things we always did, like skating and riding and going to different places and having a good time. So she said, I'm going to tell people the name of a song I know. And she gave me a copy of it. That's why I have this book. She gave me all her songs. And this says, it doesn't matter how old you are. Life is just a gamble, so without preamble, I am going to press my case. I'm no Messalina, I'm a slightly cleaner outlook on the human race. Don't imagine that I'm immune from marble or stone. I'm not utterly immune from pangs of my own. Though I'm well over 40, I can still be naughty in an unassuming way. Beauty doesn't always win the day. I say, it doesn't matter how old you are, if the joys of life are sweet. It doesn't matter how cold you are, if you've still got central heat. I've seen rattled wrecks with false pearls around their necks get away because of sex appeal. And though I may have been through the mill, I'm a creature of passion still. It doesn't matter how old you are, it's just how late you are. Now, I am not a gay girl, I'm a come-what-may girl. Nothing in my life is planned. Men with love get blinded, and I'm so broad-minded, I just smile and understand. Men don't always want to marry, they're not to blame. I imagine that to marry felt just the same. Too much love is nauseous, one can't be too cautious. Cupid's such a wily foe. No, I never let myself quite go. I know. It doesn't matter how old you are, if your heart can still beat fast. It doesn't matter how bold you are when the dangerous age is past. Now, though my face is lined and my outlook too refined, I shall never let my mind congeal. Pompadour found her love a curse, but I'll go further and do much worse. It doesn't matter how old you are, it's just how young you feel. It doesn't matter how old you are, if you still got strength to care. However naughty they say you are, it's entirely your affair. Though I have come a smack and have keep fallen off the track, it will never be from lack of zeal. You may laugh when you look at me, but watch the papers and wait and see. It doesn't matter how old you are. Everybody, it's just how young you feel. I think you're probably thinking by now that I haven't written all these songs, so I just borrowed them from all my friends. And one of them, I'm so happy, is in the house tonight. For about 8 years, I went every Sunday night to Salon, where we always had a theme and we had songs that we would sing together. And my friend Richie Eisenberg was always there. And he always sang a song, and little by little, I realized he wrote them all. Well, this is when it fits perfectly into our show, because what do you do when you don't want to be old? He said, it's never too late. It's never too late to learn to cook, never too late. Never too late to write a book, never too late. Never too late for skiing or earning that degree. Never too late for being all that you were meant to be. It's never too late to ride a bike, and if you fall, it proves that you're exactly like us all. Forget those bumps and bruises, though you may hurt a lot. It's never too late to take another shot. It's never too late to get a horse, isn't that grand? Never too late to change your course, never too late. Never too late for sorry, try to make amends. Never a night too starry for making lovers out of friends. It's never too late to take a chance, and if you win, take a breath and let the game begin. For every dance that's over, another way to start. It's never too late to listen with your heart. It's never too late to have some fun, never too late. Never too late to want someone, never too late. Never too late for moonbeams on a tropic beach. Funny how all too soon dreams start receding out of reach. It's never too late to have a thrill, isn't it grand? Never too late, the thrill is still at hand. Tomorrow you'll be older, no matter what you do. It's never too late, the rest is up to you. It's never too late to hug and kiss, never too late. Never too late to share some bliss, never too late. Never too late for smiling, laughing like a child. Laughter is so beguiling, just as you have me beguiled. Never too late to fall in love. And if you ever need a shove, I'm here. In case you haven't noticed, my dear, I'll guarantee it's never too late to fall in love. I'll ever be grateful, stars above. It's never too late to fall in love with me. Now that the adrenaline is running, I think I'll slow down a little. After learning that song, I started thinking, you know, I think we and the kids maybe could learn something from each other. And one of the great books, so writers of the time, James Taylor, decided that he had something to tell us all, young and old alike. The secret of life is enjoying the passage of time. Any fool can do it, there ain't nothing to it. Nobody knows how we got to the top of the hill. Since we're on our way down, might as well enjoy the ride. The secret of love is opening up your heart. It's okay to feel afraid, but don't let that stand in your way. For anyone knows that love is the only road. And since we're only here for a while, wow, let us show some style. Give me a smile now. Isn't it a lovely ride? Sliding down, gliding down. Oh, try not to try too hard. It's just a lovely ride. Now the thing about time is that time isn't really real. It's all your point of view. How does it feel to you? Einstein said he could never understand it all. Planets spinning in space, the smile upon your face. Welcome to the human race. It's some kind of a lovely ride. I'm sliding down, see me gliding down. Oh, let's try not to try too hard. It's just a lovely ride. The secret of life is enjoying the passage of time. How we and the kids are the same, I started thinking about children when I was doing that song. When you ask a child, how old are you? The child doesn't take 5. The child says, I'm 4 and a half, I'm going to be 5 soon, and then I'm going to go to this. They always would tell you what was coming next, what age was coming next, and what they would then be able to do. Like, it could be, on Saturday, my mom used to take us to the movies because there was an early show for kids. But now when I am going to be 13, I'm going to be a teenager, and I don't have to go with mommy. I can go in the afternoon and pay my own way. And it just went on and on like that. And I think they always were having joy in the passage of time. And that's what I think that song was teaching us about. And I don't think we had thought about that at all before that. But now, we felt pretty, self-confident. I know the secret of life now. And so, I'm not going to make mistakes anymore. I'm not going to mess up. And then I started thinking of the kids again. And I remembered when I was a little girl, I always had bandages on my knee or scabs. I remember big scabs on the knee because that came from trying to learn to ride to roller skate in the street. And there were little bumps and pebbles, and you'd fall so often. And then when Daddy decided I was big enough not to have to ride a 3-wheeler with training wheels on, then he took the wheels away. Then eventually he said, you're big enough, you're 8 years old, you don't need a tricycle anymore, you need a bicycle. And he promised that when I was riding, he'd hold the back of the seat so I could get steady. But then he used to sneak and let go sometime. And I didn't know it, and so I could still keep going. And then he'd stop and say, you just went 4 houses worth without me holding you. So these were the things, but we still were stumbling. I fell off sometimes and hit my knee on the ground. And so I think that's what life's all about. We do stumble a bit, and this is the way us older people. As we stumble along on life's journey, friendly journey as we stumble along into the blue. We look here and we look there, seeking answers everywhere, never knowing what to do or what to say. Still we stumble along through life's learning through life's learning labyrinth, barely knowing left from right or right from wrong. And the best that we could do is find a bluebird to sing a song as we trumble along. You know, it's a dismal little world in which we live. It can bore you till there's nothing left to give. 7 overrated wonders, 7 underwhelming seas, 6 excruciating continents like Antarctica. Hopefully. Let your glass and let it lick you. This journey, oh so glad. Keep your eyeballs on the highball in your hand as we stumble along on life's crowded dance floor. As we pick and we go, we live and we learn. And we finally reach the door, and we put our glasses down. We pull our bootstraps up and we're holding down. Then we stumble away in life's thorny maze, barely knowing left from right or right from wrong. But as long as we can hear a little bluebird, we'll sing a song as we stumble along, as we bumble, stumble, crumble, plumble, as we stumble along. No, it's funny how one thing always reminds you of another. And as I was thinking about that, I was thinking about how the times are changing. I mean, in a certain era, probably no media, right? Times are always changing. And there was a man that we all knew, we all got to know, Bob Dylan, who wrote a song about that. But he was in his 20s before he published that song. He was born in 1941. And I was 7 years old already when he was born. So some things were happening, 2 big things were happening in the world at that particular time. They both had a negative aspect, but something good came out of it. And the first one was, it was a Sunday morning, I got up and I realized no one else was up. So I came downstairs, I thought I'd go out the front door and see if the Sunday paper had arrived. Well, it was there, and it was colorful, and usually it was just print. And there was a big picture, and it had yellow planes, or gold, something like that, and there were black printing on it. I didn't know what it meant. And then there was people running, and there was fire, and it looked like the thing that looked like a bomb. What I didn't know was what the word said. I was in 2nd grade, I could read, I could sound out, and I sounded it out. It said, Japs bomb Pearl Harbor. I didn't know what that meant, but I found out pretty soon because I called Mommy, Daddy, and we found out we had a war starting. Now we're not going to spend a lot of time thinking about war because we're going to get the things good things that came out of it. But that happened at the very same time. Remember the potato famine that we all heard about in Ireland? Well, there was some kind of potato famine in other countries too. I don't know if it was the same time, but farmers weren't getting crops cut. The potato crops were not coming to fruition, and so they had pieces of land they had to get rid of. And a man named William Levitt, who had brothers and cousins and so forth, decided to get everyone he knew buying acres of land. Altogether, I read they bought 120,000 acres, in not just in one country, but in several of our states, and a lot of them in Canada. And then their idea was to put many plots together and make a thing we had never heard of before, developments. Houses, 30 or 40 houses. And I remember the war was going on, and this famine was, not famine, but famine in money was going on. And FDR was very smart. He knew that things had to be done because every boy over 18 was going to be drafted during the next 4 or 5 years. And what were they going to do when they came home? Some were going to come home, really in bad shape. So the GI Bill of Rights established hospitals and physical therapy centers so that the returning veterans would get treatment right away. And then he caught on to what Mr. Levitt was doing and decided that every veteran who came home, if he went to college or if he went to a trade school, he would get free tuition. And if he bought a house in one of these new developments, he would have very low mortgage rate, very low interest rate. So this is a big thing that came out. The times they were a change. And it wasn't until 20 years later that Bob Dylan released that song. But he was a man who realized that about every 20 years, the times they are changing. And the big changing that was positive was Mr. Levitt was called Mr. Suburbia. There had never been a suburb before. We had cities and we had farmland. When I was a little girl, my grandmother bought a 200-year-old farmhouse. We drove 60 miles from Brooklyn to go to that and spend the summers there. But the point is, we were surrounded by farmers. The nearest family had 10 children working in the fields. So it was a completely new life. And that is how, I guess, when Bill and I were planning the show, he said, we had to realize that a lot of things changed over different. And one of the biggest ones was there was more money. People could buy more things. And also, women changed because during the war, there weren't boys to do certain of the jobs, the girls did them. And when that GI Bill of Rights came, the girls thought, well, wait a minute, maybe we could get in on that too. They were going in and I'm trying to help a teacher or help a nurse. Instead, they could become nurses, they could become teachers, and a lot of them were working in the defense plants, building all the things, including weapons, that our boys needed in the war. So the whole world had changed. And now the girls had to think about something else. When they were 12, 13, 14, 15, they were just looking forward to finding some boy in the neighborhood to marry, get married, have a house, have a family. And now, they didn't know what kind of man they might want. And so they started thinking about the kind of guy that would make you happy. And one of the girls remembered that her father taught her that this is the way you get a man. Daddy always said I wasn't pretty unless I would smile. I would smile for Daddy and sing a little song, and Daddy would take care of me. That's how we got along. He'd say smile, and I'd smile, smile, smile. He'd say smile, and I'd smile, 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 smile. If you smile in just the right way, you'll get a pretty bride, and let mommy will take care of you for all your pretty life. If you smile, 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 if you smile. So, I was Tommy's smiling bride, I always aimed to please. I would make him happy and put him at his ease. I would smile for Tommy and sing a little song, and Tommy would take care of me. That's how we got along. He'd say smile, and I'd smile, smile, smile. He'd say smile, and I'd smile, 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 smile. Dear Tom, yes, I always fixed your supper. Dear Tom, yes, I gave more than I got. Dear Tom, I thought you thought that I was loving. Well, I'm not. Dear Tom, you thought that I was perfect. Dear Tom, you thought I was a saint. Dear Tom, you thought that I was perfect. Well, I ain't. All those years you were living with someone who was hiding behind a smile. All those years I was someone else. Deception was my style. You put me out by asking for nothing, 'cause I needed nothing to name. You couldn't give what I didn't ask for. It was a perfect game. Dear Tom, I wish that I had known you. Dear Tom, I wish that you'd known me. Dear Tom, I hope that we learn something. Well, we'll see. It does make you feel a little teary, doesn't it? And I think that was one of the other big changes. I don't think I heard much about divorce in my life until around then. And now there were a lot of people who were finding out they didn't even know what marriage was. In fact, some of the boys that I talked to when I later in my life, they said they always just thought you go in your neighborhood, you date a boy, you marry him, you have children, and that's it. Well, remember I said that there was more money around, so there were other changes. One of the things was the women didn't have to do all the housework. They had enough money to maybe pay someone to come in once a week and do the jobs they didn't want to do. And then on weekends, of course, they weren't doing farming all the time. Remember, this had been farmland. No one ever stopped working on a farm. But now, Saturday could be a free day, and maybe Mom and Dad would take the kids to Coney Island. Or something like that. And then, Mom and Dad had to have a chance at something like going to a lovely restaurant. So there hadn't been anything like delis and restaurants and movies on Long Island before. This was all new. And so they decided they had to explore new restaurants. And I think Bill might tell us something about the restaurants they found.
I stopped into a restaurant and oh, it was a dream. From a half mile up the highway, you could see the fixtures gleam. They heated up the coffee cups with extra pressure steam.
But the food was terrible.
The waitresses were charming, they had such lovely eyes. Their smiles all matched exactly, and their uniforms likewise. Their hair was piled as sweetly as the topping on the pie.
And the food was terrible.
The decor was a symphony in orange and gold and white. The silver and the crockery would fill you with delight. The menu was a masterpiece, so witty and so bright.
But the food was terrible.
They must have spent a fortune on the furniture and such. Oh, the placemats and the napkins just like linen to the touch. So the budget for the kitchen really wasn't very much. Another generation will forget the taste of meat.
Of tomatoes or something that sounded like some garbage from the street.
Garden. Tomatoes from the garden.
Whatever.
And they'll never even notice when it's plastic that they eat. That the food is terrible.
Now there is a second explanation for that I saw him because I decided it was a metaphor. See, we thought a beautiful restaurant and so forth would be just perfect, and we saw that. Well, the same thing with how about the kind of men we used to think we wanted to be with, and it was all visual. So I thought I got to find the kind of man I should be looking for, and I made a list of movie guys that I like. So, Bill, you're gonna listen, huh?
I'll pay attention.
Burt Lancaster. Paul Newman. Rock Hudson. Something wrong, I guess. James Dean. Marlon Brando.
Depends on the day.
Montgomery Clift. Oh, another one. Oh my God. How about Van Johnson? Well, I know one who was a real man, Gene Kelly. So, yes. But, what the metaphor was here was that I had always had visions of certain kinds of men, and I was what all girls did. Got married to the one that I met when I was very young. And a little bit later, I felt I had to describe to him how that love affair all happened. I loved all games and fairy tales, as strangely odd as that may seem. I love firelight and witches' tales. You see, you were there in my dreams. I lived in a tower, cloud top high, to watch my love go passing by. But this I could not do. You see, I was waiting for you. I love the rocks, the ocean breeze, and the hissing of the foam, the wild, wild kiss of the raging seas. Now you have brought me home. You leap buildings with single bounds, although I well might ask you how. You bathe the moon just like a hound. I knew I adored you now. You fill the night with raging storm. You cast the lightning across the skies. You kissed my lips with promises and burn me with your lies. I love the towns where we made love, and the hotels where we played games. You thought I'd never live it down, yet you see, I've forgotten your name. Well, we've been getting old while I'm talking about all these songs. I'm not as old as you might think, but I did need a shawl. And yet, when you're as old as I am, and I hope that you never are, you will woefully wonder why, my friend, through your cataract and guitar, you could squander away or sequester a drop of a precious year. For when your last days are yester, the rest are just as dear. What good is a field on a fine summer night if you're sitting alone with the weeds? Or a succulent pear when with each juicy bite you spit out some teeth with the seeds? Oh, before it's too late, stop trying to wait for fortune and fame you're unsure of. For there's nothing to be sure of, and there's nothing to be sure of. Oh, it's time to start living. It's time to take stock from this world we're given. It's time to take time, the train will turn to fall. time at all. Now, I never wondered if I was afraid when there was a challenge to take. And I never thought about how much I weighed when there was still some piece of cake. Maybe it's meant the hours I've spent feeling broken and bent and unwell. But there's still no cure more heaven sent than a chance to raise some hell. Oh, it's time to start living, time to start living from this world we're given. Time to take time, the great world turning more. It doesn't no time at all. So when the drearies do attack, and a sense of the sad begins, I throw these regal shoulders back and lift these noble chins. Oh, give me a night that's romantic and long, one with a man who is stalwart and steady. Give me a night that's so romantic and long that it takes me a month to get ready. Now, I could wait at Ace some aging roué and persuade him to play in some granny. But it's hard to believe I'm being led away by a man who calls me granny. Now, sages tweet that life is sweet, and good deeds and good works gain laurels. But what could make you feel more obsolete than being noted for your morals? Now, here's a secret I never have told. Maybe you'll understand why. I believe if I refuse to get old, then I can stay young till I die. Now, I've had the fears and the tears of 87 years. I've had troubles and tears by the score. But the only thing I trade them for is 87 more. Everybody, time to take everything from the world we're in. I will take time to bring what the earth is just no time at all.
Watching your flames. Love your flames.
Thank you so much. Yes, it's time for me to start living. Time to keep taking from this world we're given. You are my time, so I'll throw off the shore. And watching your fleet flow all over makes me feel young all over. In just no time at all. The reason the shows go on is because we have people like Bill. Always saving you somebody. We were accepting being old and having a new life, and oh my goodness.
I don't think he's gonna let you go.
No. I think we realized in that last song that we were beginning to feel that the last couple of songs, that there had been some not so good marriages and some good ones. And there's a wonderful one that I just have to share with you. My husband and I grew up in the same neighborhood. We lived on 45th Street. And we went to St. Vincent Ferrer Grammar School and church. So when we were quite a bit older than that, we were walking one day towards church, and I just turned and we saw a house that used to have a great big for sale sign on it. And there was a man and woman standing outside. The sign seemed to be gone. Well, nothing. And then as the woman turned, I mean, she was old like us, but she looked familiar. And I said, wait a minute, You remember that couple, those kids that we knew growing up, Donna and Herbie? I think that's Donna. Let's go down and talk to her. Well, it turned out it was. And they told us their love story, their life story, how they had grown up, married somebody else, and they had both lost their husbands, husband and wife. And so now they had met again. They were dating again. They were getting married soon. And of course, they were buying that house. And of course, we were invited to the wedding. And instead of having the reception in some beautiful place, they had it in their house. And she, who had been a singer in the church choir and so forth, sang this song to him. I do not know a day I did not love you. I can't remember love not being there. The days we went out planting in the sunshine, the days the sun was shining on your head. Now you do have to open it.
I do
I
not
do know a day I did not need you. Or needing, I'm sorry.
For sharing.
Sharing every moment that I spent. I needed you before I ever knew you. Before I knew what needing someone meant. And as we face the promise of tomorrow, one thought alone is true and filled with song. You will not know a day I do not love you the way that I have loved you all along. The way that I have loved you all along. Somebody older can help you. I'm sorry. Somebody older can teach you things. Somebody older can show you how. Someone, I'm really sorry. I'm distracted, so I have to start. I love this song, and I don't want to mess it up. All right, and since I'm stopping, I left out the little story of this couple, that they had been friends and girlfriends and held hands, boy and girlfriend, in second grade. And by fourth grade, they had forgotten each other as the girls and boys did different things. Eighth grade, when we first had boy-girl parties and spin-the-bottle parties, they became boyfriend and girlfriend again. But then again, they separated when they went off to different colleges. So now they were finding each other again. And now we're trying to do it right. Somebody older can teach you things. Somebody older can show you how. Someone who's seen it all can help you get through what you're going through now. Somebody wiser who's done it all can probably send you blessings on your way. Somebody young needs somebody older, that's true. Someone who'll probably be someone a lot like me. Now I want to take a pause. Because the story of these two included the fact that, of course, they had eventually thought they were going to marry, but it's not just that. She was much older than he was. And so that's why we're singing that. Somebody older might be just what he needed. Okay. Somebody wiser who's been around can probably send you safely on your way. Somebody young needs somebody older, that's clear. someone who'll probably be someone a lot like me. Before I came in here, I said, I'm not nervous at all, but I guess I was. But the thing was, I'm still at the point where I say, I'm glad I'm not young anymore. How lovely to sit here in the shade with none of the woes of man and maid. I'm glad I'm not young anymore. The rivals that don't exist at all, the feeling you're only 2 feet tall. Glad that I'm not young anymore. No more confusion, no morning after surprise, no self-delusion that when you're telling those lies, he isn't why. Even if love comes through the door, the kind that exists forevermore, forevermore is shorter than before. Oh, I'm so glad that I'm not young anymore. The longing to end the stale affair until you find out he doesn't care. I'm glad I'm not young anymore. No more frustration, no star-crossed lover am I, no aggravation, just one reluctant reply, buddy, goodbye. Fountain of youth is Dollars pain, Methuselah is my favorite saint. I've never been so comfortable before. Oh, I'm so glad that I'm not young anymore. These days, wild and free, with nary a thought of pregnancy. No calendars and no more keeping score. Thank God that I'm not young anymore. I may grow up by 2043. Now I'm as happy as can be. And now I can think of all the yeses I've said in my life and say some more. Yes. Say yes. Life keeps happening every day. Say yes. When possibilities come your way, you can't start wondering what to say. You never win if you never play. Say yes. There's pink and marigold right outside, and all white Cadillacs you can ride. But nothing's gained when there's nothing tried. Say yes. Yes. Don't say why. Say why not. What lies beyond what is not. So what? Say yes. Yes. Yes, I can. Yes, I will. Yes, I'll take a sip. Yes, I'll touch. Yes, of course. Yes, why not? Yes, I'll happily. Thank you very much. Yes. Come on, say yes. There's lots of chaff, but there's lots of wheat. Say yes. Yes. You might get mugged if you walk the street. I'd love to do such and such. Yes, I'll fly. Yes, I'll dare. Yes, I'll try. Yes, I'll share. You can go back, not a chance at loss, say yes. Yes. That dice mean nothing unless they're tossed. The throw is usually worth the cost. The top of summer denies the throw, say yes. Yes, I am. Yes, I'll be. Yes, I'll go. Oh, yeah! Now we have a slight pause before the very last section. This is to say thank you. First of all, to you. Oh my God. You don't know what a joy it is to have met you, even though I haven't met you all face to face. And then, of course, this marvelous, talented. I'd like to thank Allison, whom you can't see, who takes care of me. Where is she? She's doing her job, so we can't get her out here right this very minute. And then we have Randy Cohen-Lester and all the people who take care of you for your food and drink. Thank you. And there are probably a lot of people behind the scene that I don't even know, but I hope I at least thank the people that are obviously here right in front of me. Now, that was the last part of most cabaret shows. Is something some of you may not know if you don't go to cabaret shows. You don't ask for an encore, you just get one. And Bill and I, a little word of intro because it's such a wonderful song, and every time I sing it, I can feel it right here. There was a movie in 1937 that was about the best songs of the year before, and it was called, I don't know what, that was the name, something like 138 songs. There was a man and a woman who had each made a reservation on this, I think, cruise to nowhere kind of thing. They didn't know about each other, but when they were in the first night dinner, they saw each other and realized, that's the person I used to date, and that I did marry, and that I did divorce. But it was years later, and the hurt part of it was gone. They spent the whole trip remembering together all the things they had done. And that is what became the song, Thanks for Remembering.
Thanks for the memory of sentimental verse, nothing in your purse. When the preacher said, for better or for worse.
How lovely it was. Thanks for the memory of Schubert's serenade, little things of day, and traffic jams and anagrams and bills we never paid.
How lovely it was. We who could laugh over big things were parted by only a slight thing.
I wonder if we did the right thing. Oh well, that's life, I guess.
I love your dress.
Thanks for the memory of faults that you forgave, of rainbows on a wave.
Stockings in the basin when a fella needed a shave. Thank you so much.
Thanks for the memory of Temple's silver bells, alma mater yells,
Cuban rum and towels from the very best hotel.
how lovely it was. Thanks for the memory of cushions on the floor, half the dingy more, that pair of gay pajamas that you bought and never wore.
How lovely it was. We said goodbye with a highball. Then I got as high as a steeple. But we were intelligent people.
No tears, no fuss.
Ready for us.
And darling, it's nearly afternoon.
Darling, how are you? And how are all those little dreams that never quite came true? Awfully glad I met you. Cheerio and toodaloo.
And
Thank you so much.
and thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Those of you who
We're out of
can't
songs.
those pardon?
We're out of songs.
I know. Yeah. Oh, we had taken a few out to not make the show too long, but anyway, those of you who can stay, we'll meet out there and say our goodbyes and thank yous. Maybe I will have a drink. Yeah.